This is Anne with I Speak Dog. I'm going to show you today how to take a prong collar on and off of your dog. This is a small size collar, which is the one that I most commonly use, otherwise known as a 2.25 millimeter. It's most likely what I've used on your dog. But if it's, the other ones work the same way, also the medium size or large if you happen to have that. So what you do, I think I'm going to put it, it's a little hard to show this on camera. I'm going to try to do it in front of this solid background though. So you can, in order to put this around your dog's head, you never want it to be so large that it slips over your dog's head. That will make it ineffective. So you have to open and close it to put it around your dog's neck. So in order to open and close it, what you do is, and I'm going to do this a couple times, maybe from different angles because it's a little bit hard to show even in person, but I'm going to do my best to show it on camera. So what you do is essentially you're just going to take one of the prongs, and you can do it at any point, push it up, squeeze it together and kind of wiggle it out a little bit, wiggle it a little bit till it comes out. Then to put it back in, you squeeze those two prongs until they slide back in to their respective holes and drop it in and pull it tight. So let's do that a few more times. And hopefully I'll be able to get a good angle so everyone can see it. So the first thing you want to do, and it's hard to do it at first, it's just something that isn't something that we normally do. It's not, there's nothing intuitive about it, but after you do it a few times, it becomes really second nature. It also, you can do it. So the way that the prong collar is designed, the prongs on one side go one direction, and then because of the center plate in the middle, prongs on the other side go the other direction. So if you're on this side, you're gonna be working primarily with your left hand. If you're on the other side, you're gonna be working primarily with your right hand. So I just mentioned that so in case you feel like, oh, I've done this a few times, it seemed, I thought I had it and now all of a sudden it feels really funny. You might have the wrong, you might have it going, you might be using the wrong hand, so just flip it around. Or go to the other side. So what we're gonna do again is pick a prong to come out, any one, take two fingers and put one finger under each of those little feet. Use your two fingers to push up the feet. I'll do that again. So I've got my two fingers there, and I just use those, and my thumb down. So two fingers underneath and my thumb down on the adjacent prong. Push up. So then you can grab the top of this prong that is going to be the one that you remove. And once you grab that, you're going to squeeze it together. It doesn't take too much effort for the small size prong collar. If you're working with a medium or a large collar, it will take some more strength. So you're just going to squeeze it, and at the same time, you're going to kind of wiggle it to get it out. And it should kind of pop right out. So it's just the combination of the squeezing these prongs and kind of wiggling it. And again, like I said, it's not something that people can even figure out how to do without some instruction or hints, but once you know what you're doing and practice it even a few times. Some people it's a couple times, some people it's a few days or a week or two to really get used to it, but it becomes second nature. So to put it back in, it's just the reverse. Squeeze the prongs together, put them into the 2 slots, and once they're in, you can just kind of let them slide down or push them down and release it. One important thing is you want to remember that both of the prong legs move. You need to keep them together. So when you squeeze them together and take it out, they're both going to come out at the same time. That's not an issue. But when you're putting it back on, what you don't want to do is squeeze and just get one in. Just get one in at a time. If you get one in, it's really challenging to then get the other one in there. It's just, don't even try it that way. I don't know if it's possible, but if it is, it's really challenging. And it can lead to the whole thing getting stuck. So let's do it one more time. Squeeze the prongs together, put them into the slots, and let them slide down. And the way that it's designed with the tension, will just keep it from slipping off. And off one more time, which is one finger underneath each of the prong, each of the little, we'll call these legs, on the link that you're going to remove. Push it up until you can grab these 2 rounded edges, squeeze those, and kind of wiggle it. Okay, so that is the on and off part. Hey, Tilly, come here. Come here. Good. Come over here. Right here. Good girl. Can you sit? Good. Okay. So just some more things about the collar. And this is something that if we're in a lesson, I will be working with you or doing for you, definitely giving you guidance on. The way that the collar fits is, so again, I'm going to unhook it. I'm going to put it on her. But before I do that, I'm going to just put it on her first. I'll take it off and show you some other stuff. So the way that it fits, you want to put it on from the front, so it's kind of right underneath her ears, close to her jaw. And you want to kind of move it forward. She doesn't have a lot of extra, she has a little extra skin, not a lot, but if you have a dog that has a lot of extra skin, you want to just pull it up so that it rides high on the dog. You want it to be snug. You are most likely, if you're using it properly, you're most likely going to think that this thing is way too snug. It's going to hurt my dog. It's going to be really uncomfortable. That's not the case. I'll explain to you when we're working together why that's not the case. And you'll see from your dog's reaction that they generally just don't mind it at all. I will add though, for the sake of safety, you want it to be snug, but you don't want it to be too tight. Make sure you can take a couple of fingers, put it under the collar, and move it around. See how I can, she's jamming her head against the couch. See how I can spin it, I can twist it. Stop being a pill. Not easily. It's not like a necklace. And you want it to be snug because that's how it's most effective. If it's dangling down here like a necklace, your corrections are going to be kind of all over the place. Where a correction on a collar that's fitted like this is just this little tiny, excuse me, just this little tiny tug. So that's why we have it fitted up so high and snug like that. And take it off. Good girl. And a couple other things while we're on here with the collar is, so there are 2 rings on here, and you'll have a picture in your handout of, you'll have a still photograph of this if we've been working together, but I'll go ahead and explain it here also. There are 2 rings on the prong collar. I usually leave the manufacturer's tag on here just as a reminder. This is where the leash goes. It's the D ring, see how it's shaped like a D. It spins, and that is where you want to put your leash, which makes sense because as your dog's walking along, you obviously want that part to be able to spin. There's that. And then I put, this doesn't come standard on the collars, but I always put this on. It's a little safety backup. It's just a little carabiner. You can use any size or type of a carabiner, but what I do is I attach this to the dog's collar. And actually this one is, I didn't test this before. The ring on this collar is a little too big, so this wouldn't actually work. So I would have to use a bigger carabiner, but you can still go ahead and see it. So this carabiner goes onto this flat ring. It does not swivel. And the reasoning for that is, if you're out, you didn't get, somehow you didn't get the prongs on quite right, your dog was rolling around in the grass or something else happened, the collar's really old, and one of the prongs is faulty. Shouldn't happen, but does very occasionally. It comes off. Instead of your dog just being loose running down the street, it's still attached. So the carabiner it's an extra step, but it's very, very important, particularly until your dog is really fully off-leash trained. So that's what you want to do with the prong collar. And again, this is all stuff that I teach in the first lesson, but you can use this to review.